You're listening to the Spec Designs Podcast, where we share practical business information to help service-based businesses turn websites into bookings. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into a topic that feels both evergreen and, well, constantly evolving: email marketing. Specifically, we're focusing on how service-based businesses think accounting, bookkeeping, maybe consulting can really make it work. It's an area just flooded with quick fixes and, honestly, some questionable advice. But our mission today is to cut through all that noise. We're here to distill the most effective trust-building strategies straight from our sources, ensuring your emails don't just land in inboxes, but genuinely resonate, provide value, and critically convert interest into solid bookings.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating is that in our current, hyper-connected world where new platforms pop up constantly, email can sometimes feel a bit old school. But our deep dive into the material really shows it's more powerful than ever, precisely because of all of that digital clamor. The core insight isn't about chasing flashy, maybe even spammy tactics. It's about building genuine trust. It's about consistently providing unique value and maintaining a really rock-solid professional approach. And this isn't just theory. We're going to give you practical, actionable steps to achieve exactly that, turning your email strategy into, well, an undeniable cornerstone of your business growth.
Okay, let's unpack this. So when we talk about building that trust, it has to start right at the very beginning. What, in your experience, is the absolute non-negotiable first step, the one that maybe gets overlooked when businesses are eager to just, build that list quickly?
That's a great question because it really is foundational. Always get permission. Always. And this isn't just about ticking boxes for anti-spam laws, though obviously that's crucial. What our sources really highlight is how explicit permission acts as a kind of pre-qualification filter. You're not just collecting email addresses, you're actually curating this micro-community of people who are already engaged. They've raised their hand, shown genuine interest.
They've opted in consciously.
Exactly. And that translates not just to better open rates, but our sources suggest dramatically higher client lifetime value for businesses acquired through these permission-based lists. The process itself needs to be crystal clear. So prominent sign-up forms on your website, your social media, be transparent about what they're signing up for, how often you'll email. And it's also pretty wise to include a small reminder in each email, something like, you're receiving this because you subscribed on our website.
Oh, okay.
That transparency significantly reduces complaints and definitely boosts your deliverability.
Transparency is key, yeah. But let's be honest, there's always that siren song of quick wins out there. What's the biggest trap businesses fall into when they try to fast-track list building?
Right.
And why is it so damaging in the long run?
You've hit on a critical point there. The biggest trap, and one you absolutely, positively must resist, is buying email lists. Now, while it might not always be strictly illegal, depending on where you are, almost all reputable email service providers, your MailChimps, your Constant Contacts, they strictly prohibit sending to purchase lists. And the downsides are severe. You'll see abysmal engagement, like practically zero, extremely high bounce rates because many contacts are just plain wrong or old. And worst of all, it significantly damages your sender reputation.
Okay, tell me more about that sender reputation. It sounds important.
It is. Think of it like a credit score, but for your email address or domain. Every time you send to a bad address, get marked as spam, or have really low engagement, your score takes a hit. A low score tells ISPs like Gmail or Outlook that your emails might be less trustworthy, making them far more likely to end up in spam folders, no matter how good your content actually is.
Wow, I get it.
It completely undermines that quality over quantity mindset we just talked about. You're essentially shooting yourself in the foot before you even start.
Gotcha. So, okay, we've built this high-quality permission-based list. Good start. But what about a scenario where a business has an older list, maybe one that's got a bit stale from years ago? What's the best way to sort of revitalize it without risking that precious sender reputation?
Yeah, that's a very common challenge. An email list is like a garden, If you neglect it, it will go stale. Even people who genuinely opted in might forget they did if they don't hear from you regularly. That silence also hurts your sender reputation over time.
Right, inactivity signals something's off.
Exactly. So the solution is kind of two-parter. First, you need a consistent campaign schedule. Regular, valuable communication keeps your business top of mind. Don't just email when you need something. Second, for those contacts who are truly inactive, say, haven't opened anything in 6 months or a year, consider a targeted re-engagement campaign.
Okay, what does that look like?
It's not just sending more emails. It's about politely asking them to reconfirm their interests. You might frame it as, hey, we've missed you. Do you still want to receive our tax tips or whatever it is you offer? It's a strategic pruning, really. It ensures your list stays full of genuinely interested prospects rather than dead weight dragging down your deliverability stats.
That makes perfect sense. Strategic pruning, I like that.
Yeah.
So we've got the sparkling clean, permission-based, engaged list. But what do we actually send them to keep them hooked? Moving from list health, what makes an email truly break through the clutter once it lands?
Right. This is where the art, and it is an art of crafting captivating copy, comes in. And it's often a crucial first impression, maybe even the first impression for some prospects. Our sources reveal the most effective emails aren't just relevant, they actually anticipate the unasked questions of your audience.
Interesting. Like what?
Well, for an accounting firm, it's not just sending out generic tax tips. It might be something more specific, like the one tax deduction small businesses almost always miss. See how that speaks to an implicit fear or a potential missed opportunity?
Yeah, that's much more compelling.
Exactly. Your subject lines, in particular, need to be short, descriptive, intriguing. Focus on the value inside the email rather than aggressive sales language. Think your Q3 business review checklist instead of, limited time offer, save big.
Right. Less hype, more help.
Precisely. Pushy, gimmicky language not only annoys subscribers, which leads to unsubscribes, but it also frequently triggers spam filters. The goal is to inform and intrigue, not to pressure or trick.
That's a fantastic distinction. But okay, how do we ensure that this valuable content feels personal? Like we're talking directly to them and not just sending another generic blast.
This is where segmenting your audience becomes incredibly powerful. It basically means dividing your big email list into smaller, more focused groups based on shared characteristics.
What kind of characteristic?
Could be anything relevant, really. Demographics, specific service interests they've maybe clicked on before, or their client history with you if they're existing clients. For an accounting or bookkeeping firm, you might have one segment for, say, brand new business owners needing startup advice, another for established businesses interested in complex tax planning, maybe even a segment for clients who only use your payroll services.
I see. So you tailor the message to the group.
Exactly. This tailored approach lets you deliver content that resonates far more deeply. It shows you understand their unique challenges, which inevitably turbocharges engagement and how much value they perceive they're getting from you.
And can we take that segmentation even further? How do we move beyond just group relevance to a truly individual connection?
Yes, absolutely. That's where personalizing your emails truly shines. And it goes way beyond just sticking first name at the top.
Okay.
It's about tailoring the actual content to individual preferences, their behaviors, like what links they've clicked in past emails, and their history with your business. For instance, you could send specific tax tips based on a client's known business type, like retail versus service, or relevant year-end planning guides. Maybe even proactive deadline reminders that are unique to their specific situation and past interactions.
That sounds powerful.
It really is. When recipients feel like you're speaking directly to them and genuinely understand their needs, it significantly boosts engagement, it strengthens their loyalty, and it really deepens their trust in your expertise.
Okay, so with all this thought going into content, personalization, segmentation, what about the actual creation process itself? Are we aiming for speed here, or should we prioritize something else?
Oh, definitely prioritize something else. In email marketing, quality absolutely, undeniably trumps speed. Every time. When you take your time creating campaigns, you actively avoid rushing. And rushing is, well, it's the primary cause of mistakes. Mistakes in design, in the content itself, and in those all-important subject lines. I remember saying, this was a reputable firm too. They sent out a tax reminder email, but it had the wrong year in the subject line.
Ouch.
Yeah, a small error, but think about the credibility hit. These kinds of mistakes can severely impact your results, leading to lower opens, fewer clicks, and definitely more spam complaints. So, slow down. Proofread meticulously, double-check everything. Always ensure your content is valuable, accurate, and perfectly aligns with your professional brand.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Now, thinking about how people actually read emails these days, what's a critical design consideration we might overlook?
Without a doubt, it's to optimize for mobile. You just have to. The vast majority of people check their emails first on their phones, and a significant chunk will immediately delete an email if it doesn't look right or is hard to read on that small screen.
So it needs to look good everywhere.
It must be mobile friendly. That means text needs to wrap correctly, images have to be optimized so they load quickly and don't distort, and crucially, all your links and buttons need to be easily clickable with a thumb. No tiny links.
Right, fat fingers and all that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A poorly designed mobile experience isn't just an inconvenience, it creates an immediate negative impression of your brand and your professionalism. It can be a real deal breaker.
Okay. And one last point on the delivery side of things. What about the sender's identity in the email, that from address? Is there a common mistake businesses make there?
Yes, absolutely. And it's an easy fix. You must avoid no reply email addresses.
Yeah, you see those a lot.
You do, but it's a mistake. It just erects this unnecessary barrier between you and your subscribers. It literally tells them, don't reply. It stops them from easily asking questions or giving feedback, which leads to a poor customer experience. And on a more technical level, some spam filters actually see no reply addresses as a negative signal because it discourages interaction, suggesting the email might be less legitimate bulk mail.
Interesting. So use a real address.
Always use an email address that encourages recipients to respond. Something like info@ or hello@ or even a person's name if appropriate. Foster communication, don't block it. It helps build stronger relationships.
Makes total sense. So we've covered the foundation, permission, list health, and the art of crafting compelling, personalized content. But beyond the message itself, there are these crucial technical aspects that ensure your emails even reach the inbox in the first place. What are some of those vital back-end considerations?
Right, the plumbing of email, if you will. First, let's clarify an important distinction that often gets kind of muddled. Understand transactional versus marketing emails.
Okay, what's the difference?
So transactional emails are generally one-to-one messages triggered by a specific action. Think payment receipts, appointment confirmations, password resets. These are essential communications and typically don't require explicit marketing opt-in because the person initiated the interaction.
Got it.
Marketing emails, on the other hand, are promotional. They're sent in bulk to a list, could be newsletters, special offers, event invitations. And for these, explicit permission, that opt-in we talked about, is absolutely necessary. Understanding their distinct purposes and the legal requirements for each is crucial for both compliance and just overall effectiveness. You don't want to mix them up.
That's a very clear distinction. Now, diving into protecting your core brand, your domain reputation, what's a smart, maybe slightly counterintuitive move specifically for email marketing?
Okay, this is a really critical insight from our sources. The strategy of using a secondary domain name specifically for your bulk email marketing.
A secondary domain.
Yeah.
Like a different website address.
Sort of, yeah. It acts like a protective shield for your main business domain's reputation. Think about it. If, for whatever reason, your marketing emails happen to get marked as spam, or maybe you have a bad send with high bounce rates, it won't tarnish the reputation of your primary domain. Your day-to-day business emails, proposals, client communications won't be affected.
I see. Like an insulator.
Exactly. So, for example, if your main domain is, say, specdesigns.com, you might set up and use something like spec-designs.com or mail.specdesigns.com just for your marketing campaigns. It's relatively easy to set up, ensures your really important one-to-one business emails always reach your customers, and it allows for separate, focused tracking of your marketing results without putting your core brand reputation at risk.
That's clever. Okay, building on that technical side, how do we navigate those increasingly tricky spam filters? They seem to have a mind of their own sometimes. It feels like a constant battle.
It can feel like that. Understanding spam filters is absolutely key because you're right, they are incredibly sophisticated now and they're constantly evolving. They don't just scan for spammy words anymore. They analyze dozens of criteria to decide. Inbox or junk folder. Common triggers include, well, that poor sender reputation we keep mentioning. Sloppy HTML code in your email template can be a flag. Unclear intentions in your message. And of course, sending to non-opt-in subscribers is a huge red flag.
So how do we stay out of trouble?
Consistency helps. Send relevant, valuable, permission-based emails regularly. Use clean, properly coded templates. Don't just copy and paste from Word. Always make your intentions clear. And crucially, there are these technical things called DNS records, specifically SPF, DKIM, and DMRC, that you need to have set up correctly for your sending domain.
SPF, DKIM, DMRC.
Sounds complicated. It can seem that way, but think of them like this. SPF is like your email's passport, saying which servers are allowed to send email for your domain. DKIM is like a digital signature, proving the email hasn't been tampered with. And DICOM is like the customs declaration, telling receiving servers what to do if an email fails the SPF or DKIM checks.
Okay, like Layers of verification.
Exactly. Without them, your emails are essentially traveling without proper ID, making them highly suspect and much more likely to be flagged as spam. Tools like Namecheap or your domain registrar often have ways to help automate setting these up because, yeah, it can get confusing for non-experts.
Good to know there's help available. So once everything is technically set up, our content is ready. How do we make sure our campaigns are actually going to work before we hit send on the whole list? We can't just cross our fingers and hope, right?
No, definitely not. Hoping is not a strategy here. You absolutely must test your emails thoroughly. A/B testing, sometimes called split testing, is your best friend. It lets you send different versions of your campaign to a small segment of your list first.
Like different subject lines.
Exactly. Test subject lines, maybe different calls to action, different images, even different sending times. See which version performs best before you roll it out to everyone. Pay close attention to those results. They tell you what actually resonates. And, critically, always preview your emails across different email clients and devices. Check it on Gmail, Outlook, Apple Mail, on a desktop, on an iPhone, on an Android phone.
Why so many checks?
Because you'd be surprised how often an email looks perfect in your email builder, but then looks completely broken or weird in, say, Outlook on a specific version. Catching those rendering issues before you send is vital for that professional impression.
Makes sense. Test, test, test. And after the send button is finally pressed, how do we learn and improve for the next campaign? We can't just send and forget, can we?
Definitely not. Analyzing campaign reports is absolutely crucial. Ignoring them is truly like flying blind. You have no idea what worked or why. Your email service provider gives you tons of data. Open rates, click-through rates, which links got clicked the most, unsubscribe rates, even what time of day people are most likely to engage with your emails.
So that data tells the story.
It really does. This data is essential for understanding what content your audience actually likes and dislikes. It helps you refine your strategy, pinpoint the best times to send, and ultimately maximize your business's impact. It's a continuous feedback loop that makes your email marketing smarter and more effective over time.
What a deep dive. It really brings it all together, reminding us that effective email marketing, especially for service-based businesses, isn't about chasing fleeting trends or just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. It really is about building genuine, lasting connections with your audience, one thoughtful email at a time.
Exactly. The core message from all our sources is clear. Focusing on these proven strategies, things like gaining explicit permission, really leveraging robust personalization, ensuring consistent value-driven delivery, it isn't just about sending emails. It's fundamentally about building trust and providing tangible value. And in a numbers-driven field like accounting or bookkeeping, using what genuinely works makes your email marketing both incredibly efficient and highly effective in turning that initial curiosity into solid bookings and, hopefully, enduring client loyalty.
So, considering all the elements we've discussed today, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. What's one specific change you could make to your email marketing strategy this week? Maybe it's finally segmenting that list, or testing a bolder subject line, or simply double-checking those permissions and DNS records we talked about. How might that one small, intentional step begin to amplify your business's impact? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into email marketing that truly works.